Cabbage Patch Kids at all?
Yes, I have.
Well, guess what we're going to be watching?
Yes.
Are we filming now for it? Or are we doing a review? Right. Oh, hang on, I have to fix my hair. No. Oh, this is terrible though.
Okay, let's see what's inside here. We've got him here. Oh, here he comes. It's a little boy.
Oh, that's identical
Give him
to
a
my
smack
one
on the
Willie.
bottom. Get him to cry.
I remember when I was young, it was the biggest present of the year was a Cabbage Patch Kid. That was the thing everybody wanted.
Look at the Cabbage Patch like that before.
Make him smell beautiful.
We had that as well. We had all the nappies.
Okay. Oh my goodness
His name's
me.
Jack. There you are. Give him a big cuddle and a big kiss. Isn't he beautiful? And there his papers. Look here, look Louisa. Look, there's his papers. It's his name. Jack.
That's so cool.
They're like little people. It's not as if
Oh,
you're
you
just
got
going
an
to a shop
adult.
and buying a doll and walking out.
Oh,
It's nice to go through the whole thing of seeing them born. You can see how they're being changed, and they get fed and they get loved. You sign adoption papers, you say an oath. And it's just a nice sense of belonging for the owners of the new owners of their babies.
What kind of people buy these dolls?
Well, we've had people from, say, 6 months to the age of 60.
Are they buying them for kids or?
A lot of parents come in buying them for their children, for the young ones. A lot of teenage children actually come in here, and they're just crazy about them. They adore them.
Do you think that there's any psychological implications about the dolls, that there could be bad effects from thinking that it's like a real baby? Does anyone really believe that?
Most people think they believe it.
I don't know how much
They
back
like to
in the
think
day,
that it's
but
all true, but I think they realise that it's not.
and I
They're just
tried
going
to
along
buy
with
one
the
for
fantasy and
Adam's
enjoying every
sister,
minute of
Joel.
it.
He's 13 now. And I tried
Just
to
like
buy
I
one
am.
about 5 years ago because it kind of had that little revival thing going on. And I was like, oh my god, you know, my daughter's going to have a Cabbage Patch. And she just point blank refused. I know.
Is he going to sit on your knee? Put him on your knee like I've got you. Mum, would you like to go through the oath, please? Yes. Would you like to raise your right hand and look at the oath on the wall? Can you please repeat that? Yes. I promise to love my Cabbage Patch Kid with all my heart. I promise to be a kind and a good parent. I will always remember how special my Cabbage Patch Kid is to me.
Don't think she understands, we get her.
So here are your adoption papers and your birth certificate.
Give us your money, please.
Yes.
I'm very cynical about these Cabbage Patch Kids. Ona's gonna have a go at me.
Adopt me! Adopt me! I'm not a cabbage doll. I'm real. Okay, guys, what do you think of the Cabbage Patch Kids craze?
Oh,
Jeez.
they're a bit gimmicky, and people get so fanatic.
Oh, you're a good boy.
After all, they're only dolls, and I'd rather have a dog.
You'd rather have a doll?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a businessman talking.
I think they're gimmicky. I suppose my sister would like them.
This is what I want to
Give me
hear.
a puppy than a
This is
vegetable
the most
anyway.
sensible people yet talking.
Oh, it's alright, but it's a bit sappy, ripping a little dolly out of a plastic cabbage.
So basically, you think it's better for girls than for guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't
My
get
little
one.
sister thinks she came out of a cabbage.
Aye, it's a bit odd she comes out of cabbage.
No, it sets sex education back a few years.
It does set sex education back.
It's a lot of fun for the children. Obviously, they appeal to the children. But I think that it has to be kept on that level. When we first came in here and it was made such a production of, and we saw the babies coming out of the cabbages, Louisa, who's 3, said, "Is it a really truly baby?" And I said, "Well, it's a really truly baby doll." And I think that has to be drawn. I think fantasy is wonderful for children, for everybody. But on the other hand, I think people who say that one shouldn't have these fantasies, I think that's a pity too. I think a little more balance.
Well, if somebody drops it.
What's your doll's name? Cara Wilhelmina.
Remember all the boxes? You see how they've got all like woolly hair?
They're like real
Well,
babies.
mine's was different. Mine's
Why not?
had like
Just don't think it's like
Finland
real
hair,
babies.
so
What about
mine's
yours?
had
Half
like
a
proper
baby.
hair.
What about yours?
Um,
You think yours?
gave it a ball so it looked really like Velma from Scooby-Doo. Do I have a picture?
No.
The adoption certificate, yeah, every one of them came with the adoption certificate. But because, like, we didn't get to anything fantastical like this to go in the Cabbage Patch and get them.
Are you going to treat her as a real baby?
Gimmick.
You
We're
are.
just watching
Why?
a gimmick here. People making money.
Don't know.
You just think that she's like a real baby?
Yeah,
What makes her like a real baby, do you think?
she looks like one.
I don't like them myself.
Why not?
I don't know, I think they're stupid.
Do you like them?
Yes,
Why?
because they're cute.
Well,
That's
mine
like
takes
encouraging them to have
Right,
babies.
so it's a bed ornament more than...
Yeah. Oh, nighttime it comes everywhere with me.
Does it really? It's a
Yeah.
cuddly object.
Yeah, it's cute. I mean, it says you have to cuddle them every day, so.
So you do.
Yeah.
Cabbage Patch dolls are fun, but you can't beat the real thing. Can you, Christopher? Hey? He's cute, isn't he?
My Cabbage Patch was different. It had kind of realish hair that you could brush and things. It wasn't the wool version. So because she looked so like Thelma from Scooby-Doo, I decided to give her a bob. So I cut off most of her hair, and you know that way where you do the lopsided bob,
Mhm.
and then I had to try and fix it, and it went even worse. So she ended up with like hair up to here at her ears, and Gran and Papa were not,
Yeah.
absolutely not impressed. But because she was the deluxe version, but her glasses were just so cool. She had like brown glasses, and she was in a Hawaiian shirt.
Mm.
I'm not being funny, but like, what if they drop? Like, they put so much stuff into the kids' heads. And I'm not being funny, if that was me and I dropped that doll, I'd think I'd killed it. I think I'd need to take it to hospital or something. The way that they're going on. And it comes out, teaching them a complete different way of sex education. They do not come out with cabbages. And they don't come out with hair, and it's a bit bizarre. And then what was with the talcum powder and changing the nappy, and you can't really feed it. And then some of them think it's real, which is worrying, even adults.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Gender inequality, that but I took from that. Oh, oh, oh my goodness gracious me. That was quite disturbing on so many levels. I think it was slightly unfair that they interviewed boys. So obviously the disdain was quite obvious, you know, and you know, the quip about the certain education being put back a couple of decades with that's what I picked up on as well. And I and it was very whitewashed is the word I would use. No diversity in that clip at all. Very middle class. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what I've just seen.
You're gonna have loads of little people thinking that they've all had babies. They'll be very confused. That was bizarre. That like they're gonna have kids, like they said, teenagers were buying it.
Mhm.
So that's worrying because that's not sex education, and plus, then some of them think it's a real baby. Oh my lord, no.
I think it was just news agents trying to get a story of nothing really, because I think all the kids know it's just a toy.
I was a bit cynical there, Emma, but there you go.
So yeah, you were right that was an Australian news thing, but it was based in America. So it's
I was just cynical.
It showcases how a lot of the dolls were bought. So you would buy a doll, either a boy or a girl, and they'd go through the whole thing of having them born, but also make you swear an oath that you'd protect them or you'd look after them.
Emma, are they from Australia? I just thought they would be American.
They are American, but that was the best film I had, where it showed the whole process. They also showed some interviews with the kids. Like
Right.
some boys obviously thought nothing of it, there was quite a lot of kids that really liked it.
Probably because they weren't getting one, they were that negative.
Yeah. Now,
It's very strange that people think they're like real babies and like hard to explain it. Get very strange why people think that. Because
That can make people really unwell.
the
So
main
it's like Build-A-Bear, but Build-A-Bear's got more of a sort of sensible idea of putting a wish and putting the heart inside in it. But with that, it's like they're acting like it's like if you didn't crafted it properly, you're a bad person. And this whole thing about doing vows, but it's a bit much.
they still do it. They still do it at the founder's shop. They still have except it's a tree. It's like a giant tree, pregnant tree that.
Pregnant tree.
Yeah, I should show you a video one day, but the second video I'm going to show you, based on the same Cabbage Patch Kids, the Cabbage Patch thing became the Cabbage Patch craze of the 1980s, and this is what happened during Black Friday in the shops in America and all over the world.
Look at that guy.
This is ridiculous.
Can I have two?
Just one per customer. The customers were standing in front of this store at 7 o'clock this morning.
Toys R Us.
Open until 9.
I think that collapsed.
Cabbage Patch dolls were going on sale. Once the coupons were given out to those few parents who would be allowed to buy a doll, the word was given out that the dolls would be given out behind the store, out back at the freight entrance. And then the race was on. Otherwise dignified, calm, mannerly parents broke into a sprint.
Well, I had to take what they gave me, and they gave me a boy, and I wanted a girl.
Almost
This is my
comical.
second trip around. My husband works here, and I can't even get
Like
what I
Black
want.
Friday on Boxing Day.
Yeah,
Black
Friday.
I'm not going to tell my boss. I'm trying to get there now.
This is a gimmick. Well, making money.
I ran around and got another
This
ticket.
is a year before the last one.
Minutes, it was over. You did not get a Cabbage Patch doll this morning.
No, I did not.
How badly do you want one?
Very, very badly.
One woman told us she's going to call her sisters in Nebraska and Illinois to see if they can get her a doll. If not, she's going to drive to Pennsylvania.
What is it, 2 hours?
This is like a comic. It's like a
Going there.
it's like an
No, try
LG thing.
California. I have a niece that lives in California. All over.
Things have reached such a point that this store in Clifton, New Jersey, has set up a Cabbage Patch trading post. They decided it doesn't matter much that the doll retails for $21 if you can't buy one. So they'll pay you $40 for any Cabbage Patch doll you bring in, and then they'll turn around and sell it for $50. You just spent $50.
Oh my
for a doll that
God.
cost $20.
True.
Should have cost $20.
Should have cost $20, right?
Why?
Because by the time I go looking in the stores, it'll cost me $30 in gas and aggravation.
This is what all the fuss is about. Why are full-grown adults fighting over these? Well, here's one reason.
I want to get it.
Mental.
Josh Howell, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Craziness, eh? Yeah.
Pardon me?
sorry. You actually rendered me speechless. I cannot wrap my head around that. Oh my goodness gracious me. I mean, oh wow, that is consumerism at its height. I mean, oh my goodness gracious.
That was crazy. They're not like the Segway things, and I wouldn't queue up for hours and hours for a doll.
It was unheard of at the time.
I did like my Cabbage Patch doll. I did love it, but not they stood in queues and that, and I didn't know it was like that.
That was craziness.
Yeah.
I think my dad described something quite similar in Glasgow. I think that people just went crazy for it.
But oh
Yeah, it was like Black Friday, but on steroids because, you know, instead of there being like men going for big TVs and whatnot, it was mothers going nuts for dolls, you know?
The worst
Oh,
the worst thing is,
it,
Mary, I was actually Aaron and his mum were watching it, and his mum said that she got a Cabbage Patch Kid around that time, and it was just as bad. The riots were just as bad in Glasgow than they were in America.
I mean, it's.
People were
It's
throwing
just,
themselves at each other and everything.
I can believe that. I mean, I'm so glad. I would never put myself in that situation.
No,
I just,
we've got Amazon. We're fine.
yeah,
We've got Amazon.
exactly. And what astounded me was the people were getting ripped off. You know, and willing to drive miles for a Cabbage Patch doll. I thankfully never had that craze. You know, my mum and dad are pretty good. They didn't buy into all that.
It just reminds me of the Rubik's Cube or Simple Simon. Remember Simple Simon, the pressing the lights thing?
Mm-hmm.
It was a thing. It's just a gimmick. I remember the craze, and that was the main thing for Christmas was a Cabbage Patch doll. At one time, it was Pokemon, little things that you pressed, kitchen McCoos. You pressed them to feed them. Do you remember the little gadgets? And then there was Rubik's Cube. There used to be always a craze every year, but you don't seem to get it now. The crazes. I think it's having the internet and such a big range. You can just type in what you want.
Did you want a Cabbage Patch Kid?
No, I didn't want them, but I've just learnt from you. I knew the name, but I never knew they were pulled out of a cabbage. I did wonder why they were called Cabbage Patch, and they were just dolls.
Did it not happen? Why did that riot happen? Where told dumb people where it didn't know on that day, and why were they not given the road?
Nobody really knows. All they know is that for one thing, there was a gimmick that, you know, it obviously showed that the gimmick was working, and lots of children wanted one. But also there was also it was Black Friday for a lot of the riots, and yeah, people were just getting injured just for a doll.
So some people didn't get one.
Some people didn't get one until
because dangerous, or because there not enough, or
there wasn't enough. No, people were just waiting outside shops in the early hours of the morning to queue up just for a doll, for their kids or for themselves even.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like the best toys that they want for Christmas, and it's boys and girls and adults. I'm worried about the teenagers and the adults, and are they collecting them like collectible items?
Yeah, there's collectors out there.
Why are people paying $50 or something instead of $20?
It's Black Friday, I guess. You know.
Crazy.
What's really sad?
Yeah.
What's really sad, Mary, is that the history of the Cabbage Patch Kids. You might find this interesting. Xavier Roberts was the guy who brought the Cabbage Patch Kids to that attention, but he actually stole the idea from a woman who was a folk singer, and she did it as a hobby. He stole her work. He stole her art. So she sued him. He sued her right back, and she sued him back. And unfortunately, she spent all her money on her cancer treatments, and she died in 2013. So he made loads of money by stealing a woman's own artwork.
Yeah, it's like Bright Eyes all over again. Yeah, it's like Bright Eyes all over again. The famous painter, the woman that did the Bright Eyes, the big eyes and the doll's face. You know, took her a long time to regain her work. I know what you mean, and that's sad. That's so sad.
Yeah.
All right, so he's took her work and he's now loaded and he's made a jackpot of money off Cabbage Patch dolls when it wasn't even his idea.
Yep. So there's an argument there about men stealing women's work and taking the credit, basically.
I think that's wrong. I think if somebody's done the work, they should get the credit. That's just wrong.
But the
Like,
main
they went a bit extreme.
Yeah, the main thing was that this was the first time anyone had seen, especially on television, that much excitement over a doll or a toy. Even that was the first time it was caught on camera, and people were, just as horrified.
It looked like they were going to knock each other over. Like, there was no space to move. They were throwing things and everything. I couldn't be in that shop. I'd get hurt. I'm surprised there wasn't any people injured.
There was injuries. There was a child that was kicked in the face. There was a guy that was trampled.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
And it's
all over a doll.
Yeah. It's still going on as well. When the Elmo Tickle Me toy came out, a shop owner was trampled to death by his customers.
Can you explain killing someone or hurting someone over a toy? I don't know how they could live with it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And like, I feel bad for the people that had like more than one daughter, or a daughter and a son that wanted. Can you imagine having 3 kids and trying to get 3 Cabbage Patch dolls?
There was a lot of injuries that happened during the riot. The most recent event that sort of happened was the Tickle Me Elmo stuff that happened in America, and one guy was trampled to death over Elmo.
That's insane. Over Elmo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Elmo.
Yeah. I just found
Aaron has an Elmo. Aaron had a Tickle Me Elmo doll. I don't know if you still have it in the cupboard.
No.
Yeah,
he had a Tickle Me Elmo doll.
See if you managed to get a Cabbage Patch Kids and a Tickle Me Elmo from the craze. You guys are lucky.
Yeah, I know. We also managed to get a Ted doll as well.
Oh,
there was a bit of a craziness with Ted. And we didn't realise we'd got the proper explicit one.
Yeah.
That was awful.
What was it about the Cabbage Patch Kids that made people want to buy them? Do you think it was like the advertising, or did they just was appealing to kids in general?
Yeah, I think it's because they were just giving you the whole like birth aspect of it, if that makes sense. Because I don't think up until that point anyone had actually, like, you couldn't buy a doll that was like, oh, here's where it's been born, and nobody kind of broached things like that. And I think it's just the fact that it was a Cabbage Patch, and it was, you weren't saying it came out of mum's privates, and it was just a Cabbage Patch, so all the mums were like, oh phew, we can talk about this, and it probably just hyped the craze up more, that parents were kind of more accepting of it. And because there was like the different colours, and there was boys and girls.
Oh God.
My first one.
What
year? I don't know. I honestly can't remember. I was older than probably I should have been for a Cabbage Patch. Because, like I say, I thought I was a prop hairdresser when I cut her hair, I definitely had the skills. So I think I must have been about between 8 and 10. So that's pretty old for a doll.
And there was one story I saw, someone mentioned that they were in the shop and they saw a child crying as the adults around them were scrambling over toys, and it turns out the kid was crying because she had the doll, and an adult had just pushed her away and taken it off her.
That's how desperate they were.
Yeah, or excited, who knows, it's mob mentality.
I know, but it's not like they're just buying something that's absolutely like, yeah, it's a doll and it's soft and stuff, and it was born out of a cabbage. But in all reality, they're not fighting over a scratch card or anything that's got millions of pounds in it. They're fighting over a doll and they're injuring people. That to me is just ridiculous.
I was born in 1993. This was in 1983, and I'm 27. So it could be 37 years ago. These videos that's how old they are.
Wow, yeah. So well, there you go. Because maybe I wasn't as if that was 37. I was 42 in August. So maybe I was a lot younger than I thought.
Quite a lot of the kids. Quite a lot of the kids were quite older as well. Who were getting the dolls.
Yeah.
And one of the kids, one of the girls was certainly 11 or 12.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, they interviewed those boys that were a wee bit older as well, who were just mocking it.
Yeah, they were mocking it, but I could tell they were excited.
Oh yeah.
You could kind of tell they were a bit jealous of their sister. Especially the middle one. He was trying to be all coy. He was like, yeah, I just think they're known.
They did
like, yeah, we don't believe you.
Yeah.
He couldn't take his eyes off the doll.